Welcome back. Today we are taking a look at a newer Microbrand called Tuul watches. This is their Filthy 13. This is a watch that is inspired by World War II field watches. There's one thing you may not like, but overall this is probably, out of all of the very many field watches that I have reviewed, the best one yet. I'll be honest, I had never really heard of this Microbrand, and then when I saw it on Bob's channel over at Time to Go Travel and Timepieces, and then he hit me up and said, hey, would you like to check this out on a Canadian tour? I said, absolutely. I like the name, Tuul, and I like the logo they have there. It's nice and simple and symmetrical. That, in my opinion, is always a plus. This is just a very solid early offering from this newer brand. So what's the gist of this watch? Now, this watch that we have before us is the Filthy 13, and I really like the name Filthy 13. It's a modern take on the legendary Dirty Dozen, which pays tribute to the watches of World War II. You probably know this history. In World War II, they needed a solid, strong field watch that could withstand the rigors of war, and 12 companies threw their hats into the ring and were selected to create their own watches. If you check that out on Google, you can see examples of this. This here is something that is modern, but it takes inspiration from the past. And it's not the first time we've seen something like this, but this is certainly an excellent example. Scrolling through the website, we can see that they have a stainless steel case, both in black and white, and then they have a bronze case in black and green. We have for us today the black version, but I bet that green version looks pretty good. Now, the price on this depends on the case that you get. $899 for stainless steel, $1,999 for the bronze, which of course is a more unique metal. But I do see at the bottom corner here that you can get 10% off. So I think that that might alleviate some of the financial burden for you to some degree. When you click on the watch itself, you can see that you get a different option for the strap. There's an army green, a khaki, and a black strap that you can choose from. And looking at the pictures, you can see that it kind of changes the look of the watch depending upon which strap you get. A little later in the video, I'm going to try on a couple different straps of my own. Now, I'm a sucker for a white dial, and this one here looks pretty good to me. $899, black strap, khaki strap, or army green strap. Now, let's take a look at that case. This is a 38mm watch, which is a great modern size for a field watch. Of course, it's in bronze, and you can see that there is a little bit of patina already forming on this bronze watch from being handled by other reviewers. I tried to wipe that off and it didn't come off, so I think that must be patina, especially there on the crown, which is signed and screw down, which is great. Note that we have drilled lugs, and the case itself is a really nice bead blasted case. It's almost a satin finish, if you ask me. It looks really good for this style of watch. I want to give you exactly the dimensions as I measure them on my calipers. So according to my calipers, we're coming in at about 37.5, so just a little bit under 38 millimeters with a little bit of tolerance for error. And you're going to look at 20mm straps for this bad boy. The crown comes in at a reasonable 6.2, 6.3 millimeters. The lug to lug is a diminutive 45.7. Taking it off the strap for a second, we can see that it comes in at just 11mm thick, which is a great size for a field watch. And before we move on from the case, I'm going to show you the screw down case back, letting us know that this is in bronze with a sapphire crystal, that it has a Swiss automatic and is 10 ATM or 100 meters of water resistance. To me, this is another important distinction. This is the thickness with the double pass needle strap on it, coming in at 13.2 millimeters, so that adds 2.2 millimeters to the thickness of this watch. The strap itself is really nice. It has a bronze buckle and tang there for you, which is fantastic. I love to see that, and the color matches pretty well. Patina is going to vary depending upon how it's handled. It is a really nice strap. It's one of those ribbed NATOs that you see popularized quite often by cheapest NATO straps, or formerly cheapest NATO straps, now CNS, as that word NATO is trademarked, I guess. I'm not exactly sure how that works. As far as these go, though, this strap is a much better quality than you would get at CNS, that's for sure. It's more comfortable, and the one thing I like about it is how it fits on my 8.5-inch wrist. Check this out. So my problem with this kind of strap is that often they're just too short or too long for me. Too short in that I can't tuck it in, or too long with my 8.5-inch wrist that this little bit here just kind of flops up over the watch face, but there isn't quite enough to tuck back. So this one here is just right. Let's check out that dial. Moving the hands out of the way, we can get a closer look at that really nicely printed dial. Everything is crisp, everything is clean, and almost everything is lumed. Even the numerals are lumed, which is fantastic. It glows really well. It's almost diver levels glow at night, which is absolutely fantastic. And honestly, if you're out in the field, that's what you want. You want to be able to read your watch at night. I don't know about you, but I am a sucker for a railroad track, and I'm a sucker for a subdial at 6 o'clock. And this has both of those. Very ultra legible, easy to read, both day and night. You're going to have no problems with that. With air coating on the sapphire crystal, it's not only going to be scratch resistant, but it's also going to be easy to read in the daytime. Although I do find there are a few reflections out in the brightest sun. So let's talk about the movement inside this filthy 13. It has a Swiss movement, and you can actually see it says on the dial, Swiss made. Yeah, that's right. This watch qualifies for that moniker, Swiss made, which is regulated by the government. Which government? I don't know, but some kind of governing body determines that sort of thing. And this one here meets that criteria. It has a Sellita SW261-1 with 41 hours of power reserve. Winding it is nice and buttery smooth. The screw down crown is easy to screw back in. Just operating this watch is a real pleasure. It looks and it feels like a Swiss watch, which is good because at this price, that's exactly what you're going to expect. And once again, here's what it looks like on my 8.5-inch wrist. I think this will fit most wrists extremely well. And in fact, with this NATO strap, I would have no problem wearing this. It adds a little bit of bulk to it and sort of makes it feel a little less tiny on my bigger wrist. But the real question for me is, what does it look like on a couple other straps? Just as an aside, one of the things I appreciate about this watch is that it's long enough in the lug that you can pull that strap out nice and easy without damaging it or doing any harm to your strap. And you can slide a new one in really easy as well. Now, swapping straps on this is a breeze because it has drilled lugs. You can shoot your little pins here up at the camera nice and easy. Now, this here is one of my favorite straps. It's a Barton Band canvas strap. I've pulled it off of this other military style watch here, which is a great watch in its own right by Baltony. A bit of a knockoff, but gets the job done. And I don't think this color works with the bronze, but there is one thing I will like about this strap. What I like about this strap is the thickness, or rather thinness, as it sits on my wrist. I don't find it really that obtrusive or bulky on my wrist with the other strap that comes with it, but I would have liked to have seen an option for a second strap. But here is the problem. Stainless steel, bronze. Stainless steel, bronze. No good. And just for fun, I have tossed it on this really nice Vario strap that I like. It's sort of half Cordura, half leather, a nice solid strap. Does tend to fray a little bit, but I don't really mind that a whole lot on this kind of watch. It sort of adds to the look. Let's check this one out on the wrist. And here we go on the wrist. From this angle, it sort of gives you an idea of what it would look like on leather. I think this would look amazing on a beaten up leather strap. But again, here's the problem. It has silver hardware on that bronze case. Oof, just doesn't work for me. So what are two things I like about this watch and two things that I don't? Well, I like just about everything about this watch. I like the dial, the lume. It's a great interpretation. It's a new spin on an old idea. Just fantastic overall. The strap is great. Love the bronze. So what don't I like about this watch? Well, there's two things really that I would change. Number one, I think that I would add in a second strap, maybe a nice leather strap that really dresses it up, or perhaps a canvas strap. It doesn't add that extra layer of bulk. And secondly, of course, the price is just a little on the pricey side for a Microbrand. But that being said, when you consider that it is Swiss made, you really have to see how they can justify that price. Well, thanks very much for watching today, and thanks to Tuul Watches for lending this bronze beauty. And if you feel like hitting that like and subscribe button, now's the time to do it.